Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Make It Yourself. In today's tutorial I'll teach you how to make this bobble stitch pumpkin. The pattern for this pumpkin is very simple, and even if you are a beginner you will be able to make this pumpkin pretty easily. And in my previous video I had shown you how to make this simple smaller size pumpkin, and you can combine these two pumpkins or make different sizes and make a pumpkin stack as well. I hope you'll enjoy today's tutorial. I would also like to tell you that the details related to the hook size, the yarn use and all the other things needed in today's video will be available in the description part of this video. So we're going to start by making a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 32. So I'm using orange color yarn. You can use any other fall colors that you think will suit for making a pumpkin. I will also provide the link to the smaller pumpkin that I showed you at the beginning of the video. The link will be provided in the description, so you can refer to the description and make the other pumpkin as well. So we're going to chain 32 first, and once we are done chaining 32, on the second stitch from the hook we are going to make one single crochet. So similarly we will be making one single crochet on each stitch of this chain. Since we started off with the 32 chain, after this single crochet row we should have a total of 31 single crochets by the end of this row. So continue making this single crochets in a similar manner till you reach the last stitch. So here we are at almost at the end of this row, so continue making them and you can count and see you should have a total of 31 single crochets. So after the last stitch we are going to chain 3, and this chain 3 counts as a stitch, and after that we're going to turn our work. Now on the fifth stitch from the hook, that is 1 2 3 4 5. So let me show it again, 1 2 3 4 5. On the back loop of the fifth stitch from the hook we are going to make a bobble stitch. So for the bobble stitch, yarn over, pull under the stitch and pass through only 2, and then again yarn over, pull under the stitch and pass through only 2 loops. So we're pulling through only 2 loops and we will do this total of 5 times. So this is the third time, this is the fourth time where we're pulling through only 2 loops, and this is the fifth time. So by then you should have a total of 6 loops in the hook. You will be pulling through all of them. So this is a bobble formed. Now into the next 3 stitches you will be making 3 double crochets. So 1 double crochet in each. This is the first double crochet, the second double crochet, and then make the third double crochet. So from now onwards all the stitches that we will be making will be only in the back loop of the stitches. So for the bobble stitch, make a double crochet, pull through 2 loops, make the second double crochet, pull through 2 loops, make the third double crochet, pull through only 2 loops, the fourth double crochet, pull through 2 loops, and make the fifth double crochet and pull through only 2 loops, such that you have a total of 6. So 1 2 3 4 5 6, and pull through all the loops. And following this we'll be making again 3 double crochets in the next 3 stitches. So we'll be repeating this pattern of making 1 bobble stitch followed by 3 double crochets um, till you have only 2 stitches left in this row. So continue making this till you have 2 stitches left at the end. So for the last 2 stitches alone we will after the 3 double crochets we will be making 1 bobble followed by 1 double crochet. So if you would have seen at the beginning of this row we started off with a chain of 3 which acts as a double crochet, and so we are ending also with 1 bobble followed by 1 double crochet. So this is the last bobble of this row, and after that make the double crochet in the last stitch, And this is the end of this row number 2, and we have a total of 8 bobbles after we completed row number 2. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, so 8 bobbles should be there after row number 2. So chain 1 and turn your work. Now we're basically going to repeat these 2 rows till the end, so just make sure you're working on the back loop. So starting the second stitch from the hook, you'll be making 1 single crochet in each, only on the back loop till the end of this row. So third row is nothing but a repetition of row number 1, but the only difference is we are working only in the back loop of the stitches. So here we are almost at the end of this row. One thing I wanted to show is that don't forget to make the last single crochet on top of the chain 3. So this is the top part or the top loop of the chain 3. So insert your hook into the second loop and make 1 single crochet. Only then you will have the correct count of stitches, that is you should always end up with 31 stitches. So for the next row, again chain 3, turn your work, and into the 5th stitch from the hook you will be making a bobble stitch. So count 5 stitches. So into the 5th stitch, on the back loop make a bobble stitch. So yarn over, pull under the stitch and pull through 2 loops, and do that a total of 5 times, so that you have a total of 6 loops in your hook. And once you have 6 loops in your hook, pull through all of them and you get the bobble. Following this, you will be making 3 double crochets in the next 3 stitches, and we are always working on the back loops, and you'll be repeating this pattern till the end of this row. So repeat this pattern and until you have 2 stitches left at the end, like I showed you for the previous bobble stitch row as well. So repeat this till you have 2 stitches left. So in the second last stitch we will make a bobble followed by a double crochet in the last stitch. So this is the only part which you should take care, that for the bobble stitch row, the last 2 stitches will be a bobble followed by a double crochet, and in the single crochet row just make sure that you make the last stitch on top of the chain 3. So rest of it is pretty simple. So we'll just chain 1, turn our work, and then continue repeating this row 1 and row 2 again. So we will be making again this entire row of single crochet now. You can skip or move forward and continue with this pattern, because here we are just going to repeat the same steps of like a row of single crochet followed by a row of bobble stitch. So here too I'm just trying to show you at the end, when you reach the chain 3, you should make one single crochet on top of the chain 3 also. So just take the back loop of this chain 3 and make 1 single crochet on top of it. Count just to make sure that you have a total of 31 single crochets. So you will be making a total of 32 rows. So this includes the bobble stitch plus the single crochet stitch. So if you count the bobbles alone, you will get 16 rows of bobbles. So 16 rows of bobbles and 16 rows of single crochets makes a total 32 rows overall. So once you're done with the 32 rows, you can chain 1, leave a very long tail, and trim off this orange yarn. Now we will come to the stitching part where we are forming the pumpkin. So we will be using a needle for this, and we'll be connecting the first and the last row together. So the last row has two loops, and the first row, since it started with a chain, it has just a single loop. So you will be using this first row single loop and the front loop of the last row, and stitch it together. So use the front loop. So this is the front loop of the last row and the available loop of the first row, and stitch both of them together. Now since both the rows have equal number of stitches, you will be able to stitch through each set of stitches, and by the end of this round. So just continue stitching. There's no right or wrong way in doing this. I'm just passing the needle through the front loop of the last row and the loop available of the first row, and just pulling and stitching them together. So do this till the end of this section. If you prefer, you can also use a crochet hook, and instead of stitching, you can also slip stitch together these two rows, whichever is comfortable for you. So here I am almost at the end of stitching these two rows together, and once I reach the last stitch, I'm going to close the uh, opening at that particular end as well. So here I'm almost at the end. I'm putting a few more stitches, and now I'm going to insert my needle in a zigzag manner over the opening section. So we're going to so kind of insert the needle through the stitches. Here too, there's no right or wrong way in doing the stitching part. You just have to make sure that you're closing this opening. So insert through the stitches in this pattern until you reach the starting stitch, and once you have gone around it fully, you can pull the yarn and close this opening. So kind of a drawstring effect. So just pull the tail yarn as tight as possible, and just to make it extra secure, I'm going to stitch across as well. So just one stitch across this way and another stitch from top to bottom, so that the opening is closed properly. So once you have placed the knots and close this opening, you can place the stuffing inside the pumpkin. So you can use polyfill for the stuffing, or you can also use scrap yarn, that you all the leftover yarn that you have and do not use any longer, small chunks of yarn, you can use that also. Now we are going to insert the needle through the bottom and take it out through the top opening through the polyfill. So just pull it out, and now we're going to stitch the top part of this pumpkin as well. So we're going to stitch it in a similar manner like how we did the bottom. So we're just going to insert the needles through the stitches of the opening in a zigzag manner, and then pull to close this opening. So insert through all the stitches on this section. So pass it through all the stitches, and once you reach the first stitch, you can pull the yarn tightly and close this opening as well. So pull it tight and close the opening. You can place few stitches across also, like we did in the bottom, to make sure that the opening closes fully. And after that, place few knots. So once you're done placing the knots, what you can do is you can insert the needle through the pumpkin and take it out through the body and then trim it off. So here the body of the pumpkin is ready, and now we're going to make the stem. So for stem, use a green yarn, make a magic ring, and then chain one. Now this chain one doesn't count as a stitch, and into this magic ring we are going to make 10 single crochets. So make 10 single crochets into the magic ring. First single crochet, second single crochet, the third single crochet, fourth single crochet, fifth single crochet, sixth single crochet, seventh single crochet, eighth single crochet, the ninth single crochet, and the 10th single crochet. So after the 10th single crochet, pull the tail yarn tightly to close the magic ring, and now on top of the first stitch you're going to make a slip stitch, and then you're going to chain one. So for all the rows, the chain one will not count as a stitch, and when you are slip stitching also, make sure you slip stitch to the first single crochet and not the chain one. So for the second round, we will just make one single crochet on top of each stitch. Start from the stitch where you made the chain one itself. So you should have a total of 10 single crochets after the at the end of this round 2 as well. So basically for the next few rounds we are just going to make one single crochet in each, because we want to increase the length of this stem. So you can customize this the count for the number of rounds based on how long you want the pumpkin stem to be. So I have made a total of around 10 rounds, so you can do that, or you can make it shorter or longer by reducing or adding more rounds. So continue making the single crochet and then slip stitch at the end of the round, and then make a chain one, and then make the single crochets again. So after the end of the 10th round, you are going to slip stitch to the first stitch, and then you're going to make a long chain. In my case, I have made a chain of 25. This is mainly to make the a spiral vine and the leaf. So first we're going to make the vine. So after you complete the chain of 25, you are going to make 2 single crochets in each of the next 15 stitches. So just continue making 2 single crochets in each stitch for the total of 15. As you continue to make these 2 stitches in each of these stitches of the chain, the cord will start to coil and look like a vine. So continue this until you have made this over 15 chains or 15 stitches. Now once you reach the 16th stitch, you're going to make a slip stitch, and then you're going to start another small branch to make the leaf. So just chain 8, and on the second stitch from the hook, you're first going to make one single crochet, followed by a half double crochet. So we are doing this all in the same stitch, followed by a chain of 2, followed by another half double crochet, followed by a double crochet, followed by one treble crochet. So for treble crochet, you'll yarn over twice and then pull under the stitch and then pull through two loops at a time, and do that 3 times. And chain of 2, followed by a treble crochet again, and after the treble crochet you will make the double crochet, followed by a half double crochet, followed by a chain of 2, followed by another half double crochet. Now make one single crochet into the same stitch, followed by a slip stitch. So after this you will see that the leaf is ready. Now you're going to slip stitch over the remaining stitches of the chain. So slip stitch over first the branch for this leaf. So slip stitch over this section of this chain, and once you reach the intersection where you have the vine and the leaf, there you're going to start slip stitching over the main branch. So slip stitch over the main branch now, and continue till you reach the uh, stem of the pumpkin. So after the slip stitch you will be placing one slip stitch on the stem itself. So place one slip stitch there, and now you're going to chain 2. This chain 2 does not count as a stitch, and then into the same stitch you're going to make 2 double crochets. So make 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Now into the remaining 9 stitches also you will just make 2 double crochets in each stitch. So just make 2 double crochets in each of the stitches. So continue doing this till you reach the first stitch. So after the you have made the 2 double crochets in the last stitch, you're going to slip stitch to the top of the first stitch. But before doing that, make sure that you have this vine and this leaf, you have pushed it to the top, and then make the slip stitch under it. So chain 1 and leave a long tail and trim the green yarn. Now using this tail yarn you are going to stitch it to the top of the pumpkin. So here too there is no right or wrong way of doing it. I'm just going to use this needle to stitch the border of this stem to the pumpkin, to the top section of this pumpkin. So I'm just catching hold of few stitches of the pumpkin, and then inserting the needle, catching hold of few stitches of the pumpkin and inserting through the stem section and stitching it around. So continue stitching such that you have stitched all around the stem, and this stem is connected to the top part of the pumpkin securely. Uh, you can also, at times if you do not want to stitch, you can trim off the tail yarn and also glue this to the pumpkin, but I feel this is a more secure way of attaching the stem to the pumpkin. Now once you reach you have stitched across, you can place stitched around, you can place few knots, make it secure, and then insert this needle through the body of the pumpkin such that the tail yarn is hidden into the body, and then trim off the excess yarn. So here our pumpkin is ready. You also have this cute little leaf and curly vine. You can add more leaves or more vines using this in a similar manner. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If so, do subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon for notification on new videos, and give me a thumbs up, guys. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.